Hello and welcome to another episode of Sonic Touch. This is episode number 8. This is my co-host Gaz Williams, songsurgeon.co.uk. I am Nick Batt, editor of sonicstate.com. So Gaz, how's things? What's happening?
Good. Well, lots of interest about the upcoming iPad 3, which the rumour mill suggesting is going to be March the 7th. A lot of credibility to suggest that date is likely. So yeah, well, as obviously ever with these things, there's masses of speculation. We thought we'd actually just think, well, what would we like the iPad 3 to have? You know, what extras would we like it to have rather than what we think it's going to have? So Gaz, that's over to you. What's your first choice? Well, I think now we're seeing apps being able to interact with each other on the iPad. Then I'm noticing that the processing power is starting to kind of show signs of creakiness.
Falling over.
Yeah, falling over.
More power, please.
More power.
So let's have a quad core, I don't know, 1.2, something like that. I mean, they're making phones with quad cores in, so why ever not?
Well, according to the rumours, though, the quad core A6 was meant to be in the iPad 3, but I've heard the A5X is going to be the processor in there, which I'm not sure is going to be the quad core thing or just an incremental increase from the current level. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay,
and so what else? I think we talked about possibly having Bluetooth 4 is now available in the iPhone 4S, and that would be something that was pretty cool. What would that enable as well?
Well, Bluetooth 4 allows much quicker sound, so the latency would be a lot less. Obviously, that's a big problem currently with Bluetooth. If you try and use it, you get that kind of latency, that lag, which makes it using wireless audio
not possible.
Not possible. So there's sub 6 millisecond latency with Bluetooth 4. So that would have tremendous benefits for the iPad musician.
So what's the first thing we're going to have a look at this week then, Gaz?
Well, it's going to look at a program called Sleen, which is an update to a piece of software that's been out for a while. It's like a standalone instrument made by a company called Amidio, and it's really all about using the touchscreen idiom.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, so we can see here that there's a kind of, the notes are laid out in a way that fall directly underneath your fingers, and you've got like a kind of control knob that is for your thumb to operate.
It's kind of like a Dvorak keyboard almost.
Well, I don't know what that is, but I'll agree with you. It's the notes, as I say, they're laid out in a particular way where we sort of do alternate the notes, and
you get bend.
You can bend, and it'll trill though. It'll trill if you do it fast. And if you do it slow, you can kind of make it glide sort of automatically.
Is it hard to play as a sort of, a new method of playing something, or is it kind of fairly straightforward?
I think I find that with it on a stand here, I'm actually finding it easier to play than when I've been trying to hold it, because it does require really both hands to be sort of coming down on it like so. But one of the things that is quite nice though is I can turn on drones.
Oh.
And now these drones, they'll just kind of play in our key. We're in sort of like a G sharp.
And what's that blue thing mapped to at the moment?
Right, well that's mapped to filter.
That's quite expressive.
And if I slide to the tops of notes, you get vibrato. And also there's these pads here, which if I hit my palm on them, I can get sort of pitch bends.
So they've obviously thought about the way that it integrates with your hands quite effectively.
You can't actually really see when you're playing particularly, because your hands are kind of, but I think that's okay. I think it's maybe designed partly in that way that that the notes fall directly under your fingers, so I think it makes it quite easy to play. And of course, because all the notes are mapped into a key, then you can't really go far wrong on it. But
what about sounds? How many sounds are we talking about here?
Okay, let's have a look. There's quite a lot of sounds, sort of soft leads, keys, hard leads, flute. So it's generally sort of around the kind of ambient sort of end of things. But I should mention though, if we hit here, we can see that there is like now with this latest edition of Seline, comprehensive MIDI support, so we can use it as a controller for both apps internally or
you can use it to control external. Because it does look like it's a very well thought out interface for controlling with your hand, doesn't it?
Definitely. So the fact that these apps do allow this network MIDI, so to do Wi-Fi MIDI to control your soft synths on your computer, it means that its kind of usability is increased, significantly.
And what about effects?
Yeah, we've got, for the internal sounds, we've got sort of, we've got pretty decent sort of effects there. Yeah. And with a reasonable amount of control over them. And similarly with the drones, we've got a few different kinds of drones. And there is a shop as well where you can purchase more.
Purchase more drones.
More drones, yeah. And there's a record and a playback function as well, so you can kind of record things and then export if you want to make sort of things to transfer into other
So
apps.
how much and who and all those things?
Okay, it's made by Amidio and it's $6.99 and it's so around the £5 mark.
Great. So now onto my featured Android app, and I have to cheat a little bit because my Android phone, the humble HTC Desire, won't run it. But here's a bit of a clip. It's AudioTool Sketch, and it's essentially like a Reason stroke Rebirth kind of vibe. It's got an 808, a 909 and a 303, and this is running on an Android tablet. I can't imagine it would be all that good on my phone. The thing about this is it only works on Android 3.0 and above, which is, this I think only gets to 2.1, so you will need to find a tablet that's going to do it. But as you can see, it's got a little mixer. It looks actually kind of quite like early iPhone apps, and something that it's promising, I think, is all I can really say. So perhaps not the kind of iPad slayer we were hoping for. I'm afraid I can't do almost that much about it. It was only 99 pence, so it's not really a great deal of money. So I'm sorry, I had to cheat a little bit. I did look at a couple of other things and I couldn't really find anything that would run on this. So if anyone wants to send us an Android tablet that's capable of running higher OS, then we may well be able to review some stuff, but I just haven't got one at the moment. So now Gaz has got something really cool set up for us to take a look at. What is it, Gaz?
Well, you may know I'm a big fan of Soundprism Pro on the iPad, and I've got it set up at the moment controlling Omnisphere on Ableton Live. But what makes this interesting, and the way I've got it set up though, is it's in a multi-timbral mode. That means I've got multi-touch. Every touch is a different sound. So I've got that set up on my laptop running Ableton Live and Omnisphere. So what I've got then is 6 MIDI channels set up in Ableton Live, all feeding Omnisphere, a single instance of Omnisphere, because Omnisphere is a multi-timbral plugin. And I've got Soundprism Pro transmitting 6 independent MIDI channels to it. So let me show you how that works. My first touch is making this sound here. My second touch, with that finger still touching, is bringing in a different sound. My third finger, bringing in a sound which is an octave higher. My fourth finger, and then finally my thumb is bringing in another sound as well. But that's not all. I can play bass lines with...
Hold on a minute. So it recognises that each of the touches is a separate MIDI channel and tracks them.
That's correct, yes. So look at this now. I'm going to start Ableton Live recording. So. Soundprism allows us to use different clusters of notes, from single note, 2 notes, 3 notes, and over different octaves, 3 octaves. this hand acts like a sustain. So now we've got that recorded, there's another little trick we've got up our sleeve. On my iPad, I've got another app here called Omnisphere, touch remote for Omnisphere.
This is the one by Spectrasonics that allows them to...
Yeah.
It's by them, for them.
For them, exactly. So I'm going to click connect here. Now we're using the ad hoc network here. We're using that for low latency. That was demonstrated by us in episode 5, if you need to see how we do that. But yes, the reason for that is so we can get really fast response. So I'm going to connect here. And here's all the sounds that we've just been using. I'll take this to the beginning. Now if I push play, I can select any of the sounds and go to like the orb. This lets me adjust multiple parameters in real time. So you can kind of find lots of interesting... I can just jump to any of the sounds. I can take inertia off. Let's filter.
Great fun, great fun.
Yes, this is, I think, the combination of the iPad, the apps, and Ableton Live and Omnisphere is such a wonderful, exciting area to play around in, you know.
So Soundprism Pro is $15.99 US, $10.99 UK pounds. You do need the Pro version because otherwise you won't get the MIDI control aspect to it. And how much is Omnisphere TR?
Omnisphere is free.
Excellent. Well, you can't ask for more than that. So we're nearly at the end of the show. You had a couple of updates you wanted to mention, right?
Yes. So Grain Science, which we covered a couple of episodes ago, has had an update which now allows it to be controlled internally with a MIDI, so you can use your fancy MIDI controllers for playing that really interesting synthesizer. So that's kind of increased its functionality quite significantly, so I really recommend that. It's superb. And the other one that we covered in the last show, which is DM1, that's also received a really great update which allows for volume automations and audio copy paste and a whole bunch of other things that were missing from it. So that's increased that functionality quite significantly, and that's on special offer at the moment as well.
So that's pretty much it. All that remains for us to do is to say, please leave your comments in the section below and tell your friends, let's have a party. So Gaz Williams, thank you very much.
And my pleasure.
And I'm Nick Batt. That was Sonic Touch episode number 8. See you later.